Hello, and welcome to this week's Chatty Corner. This week I'm pretty much signing off for the year, and I've got a couple of news stories that have popped up in like the last 24 hours for me as I record this. But first of all, let's talk about updates and stuff. Tomb Raider 3, as always, I've told you what's happening with that. Still haven't edited All Hallows yet. But Media Cavern will probably go up at the same time as this does, so you've got that to look forward to, if you haven't already watched it. Yeah. And obviously the Advent Calendar is going to carry on, as usual, up until Christmas. So that's where things are right now. I haven't done much towards the next Let's Play, but I do aim to get like the first part recorded and edited this week for patrons only, and then the rest of you will get it sort of mid-January, I'm going to put out. But the other update that I want to put out there is that this will be my last Chatty Corner of 2015. The reason for that is over the next 2 weeks, sort of Christmas and New Year weeks, I am basically taking 2 weeks to step back from my projects, my ongoing things, my writing and my YouTube channel, and just to kind of sort of refocus a lot of things and to take a sort of analytical view of where I'm at, where I want to go next, and what I can do to improve and all that kind of thing. So hopefully in the new year I'll come back and everything will start improving and being better, because I would like to take this channel a lot further into the new year, make it a lot more popular, make it a lot more interesting in terms of content. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but that's why I want to sort of take a step back for 2 weeks and be like, where am I going with this? Where am I going with my blog? Where am I going with other projects that are unrelated to the channel and the blog and all the rest of it? And just kind of sort out my general mental health as well. And Christmas seems like a good time to do that. As we move into a new year, it's always a good time to reflect on what has happened and where you're going next. So there's a couple of weeks off, basically. So you won't hear from me. You'll still get the Advent Calendar videos up to Christmas, like I said, and you'll get All Hallows next week. So it's not like you'll get nothing from me next week. You just won't get a Chatty Corner from me next week, and then you won't get anything the week after. I will resume Chatty Corners the first week of January, but I can't guarantee the next Let's Play will be starting up in that first week, because I want to make at least a small backlog, if nothing else. Probably mid-January will be a time where that will happen. Obviously, when I say, what direction I want to take the channel in, nothing much is going to change initially, just because I like what I do right now, but I want to do things to it to make it more professional, make it more popular, and everything. So basically expect loads of Minecraft videos and fake scare cam. No, it's not going to go in that direction. Of course not. It's not going to change in terms of the type of games I'm playing and the types of anything like that. It's not going to change much on that front. It's just, one idea that I will put forward as something that I would like to do is because the Advent Calendar, a lot of people seem to really like the Advent Calendar, and a lot of people, that's why I brought it back. A lot of people seem to really like the idea of me just playing something for a little bit and reacting to it for the first time, and that's something I'd like to do more of in the new year. Again, don't have any specifics on where I want to go with that, but it's something I'm definitely going to consider, if nothing else. And yeah, we'll see where it goes. So, like I said, this will be the last Chatty Corner of 2015, and I will have a blog going up probably next week, which will be my thoughts on gaming in 2015 and what I'm looking forward to in 2016, kind of thing. That'll go up next week. I've already written a draft of it, but I'll go over it and I'll post it next week so it's close to Christmas. I feel it's a more appropriate time to post it. So while the new Let's Play won't be up until mid to late January, there will be Chatty Corners. I will endeavour to get Chatty Corners going. So there we go. That's general updates on everything. Still playing the same games that I was playing last week. I have started Banjo-Kazooie, and I have definitely enjoying it a lot more than I enjoyed Super Mario 64, which I didn't really enjoy at all because it has aged really badly and it feels really clunky and really awkward, whereas Banjo-Kazooie feels a bit more fluid, a bit more easy to get along with. It's a bit more responsive, it's a bit more Yeah, it's a bit more fluid is the best way to describe it. There are some issues with it, but they're not as glaring as Mario's issues were, so there we go. Yeah, and there's not really much I can talk about on what I've been playing as a result, because it hasn't really changed from last week. So, as I record this, yesterday, the announcements for Smash Brothers, the last presentation for Smash Brothers went up. And, first of all, they announced Fire Emblem character number 447. And the reaction to that is exactly as you'd expect. We don't need another Fire Emblem character, especially one from a game that isn't even out yet. You know, that's kind of a problem. This is a character who's clearly just been added to go, hey, Fire Emblem, there's a new one coming out, you should buy it. And I don't want to, so no. No thanks, we have enough Fire Emblem characters. That was a bit of an anticlimax after Cloud, let's be honest. Cloud was rather unexpected and rather like, oh my god, where the hell did that come from, you know? But what can you do? Really? So they went into great length about the moves and no one cared because no one has played the game because it's not even out yet. I don't know if it's out in Japan, but even so, yeah. And then they went through Cloud and covered a lot of what's going on with his moveset and all that kind of stuff and what to expect, and then said he'd be out later that day. We'll get to that in a second. And then they said we've got one more fighter to show off. So, who've we got? Well, initially, it cut to Kid Icarus. Well, Pip from Kid Icarus fighting someone, I can't remember who it was. And my initial reaction was, oh good, more over-representation of Kid Icarus Uprising. Good, that's what we want. That's great. And then Bayonetta appeared. I was like, that's a lot better. I'm pretty cool with Bayonetta being in there. It's kind of... A lot of people have even said, like, you know, it seems weird that she was never in there in the first place because she seems like such a no-brainer. And lots of people... I've seen a bit of a mixed reaction. I've seen people getting really, really upset about it. But I've also seen, on the other side, people getting really excited about it. I've not played Bayonetta, either of them. I have them, but I've not played them yet. Again, this is why I'm doing the chronological challenge, because I have so many games that I've not touched, that it's basically a way to force me to play through every game I have, so I can actually play through some of these games. So it will take me a while to get to Bayonetta, especially as I'm lounging around in 2 generations before her game even came out. But I like the look of Bayonetta as a game, and I think that she definitely looks interesting in Smash Brothers as well, and it makes sense because obviously Nintendo published Bayonetta 2. So, yeah, I think it's a good choice. So I don't understand people who are getting really, really angry over it. I mean, none of my predictions came true. I predicted an Inkling, Shovel Knight, and Banjo-Kazooie. See, here's the thing with Banjo-Kazooie. When the poll first came out, and people started saying, like, putting out their suggestions, a lot of people started saying Banjo-Kazooie. And then, of course, lots of people started pointing out, quite rightly, well, Microsoft do own the rights to Banjo-Kazooie now, so it might be a problem. And then Phil Spencer, who is the head of Xbox, someone asked him directly, you know, is there any chance of Banjo-Kazooie being in Smash Brothers? And his response was, I don't see why not. We've worked with Nintendo on sort of to do with rare IPs before, so I wouldn't rule it out completely. I can't remember. It's not. I'm paraphrasing, but that's kind of the tone of it. Was like, oh, sure, why not? So after that, I just went, well, it's pretty much a no-brainer that Banjo-Kazooie is going to be in because Phil Spencer already said, yeah, sure, why not? I reckon that maybe Banjo had been considered, but they probably, while Phil Spencer was probably all for it, I imagine there's probably some higher up at the Xbox division, or, you know, someone within Microsoft who is just like, don't you dare go down that route, don't support our competitors. You know, that's probably what happened, I reckon. Still no excuse for the lack of Shovel Knight or Inkling, because those seem like no-brainers as well. You know, Yacht Club, I can guarantee, would be saying yes, because most indie developers, I can imagine if Nintendo went to most indie developers and says, hey, can we put your character in Smash Brothers? Most of them would probably say yes. Because you're this small developer who hasn't been around for very long, and then suddenly a company as big as Nintendo are saying, can we put your character in the game, essentially as a way to promote people to go and play your game? You're going to say yes. But it doesn't look like it's gone very far on this, so I don't know. I get the feeling Nintendo just didn't ask, because I don't think the problem is Yacht Club saying no. And the Inkling, I have no idea. You'd think with Splatoon getting the praise and the sales that it has, and, actually helping to sell the Wii U, that, Nintendo might want to have given it a little bit more representation in Smash Brothers than just some costumes for the Mii fighters, which I'm not particularly pleased with. Because here's the thing about the Mii fighters, I forget they exist. All the time, I forget they exist. Just because they're a pain. They're a pain to put together. I just want to, play as characters in the game. I don't want to play a Mii. I want to play a character. So, there we go. So I'm slightly disappointed that none of my predictions came true, but I'm not too fussed about the fact that Bayonetta's in. I'm pretty happy with that fact. Although the Fire Emblem character, and that's all I'm going to call them, is just the Fire Emblem character. Yeah, get out. We don't need another one. We already had Roy as a DLC character. We don't need another Fire Emblem character as a DLC character. There's 6 Fire Emblem characters. Fire Emblem is nowhere near the level of popularity as something like Pokemon or Mario, who also have 6 representatives. Mario I can accept. Even with Yoshi and Wario, they've got their own spin-off series anyway, so that kind of justifies them. And it also, Mario, Luigi, Peach, Bowser, they're all well-known characters anyway. It's when you get into Rosalina that it starts being not sure. But otherwise, that's all good. I'm fine with those. And Pokemon makes sense because Pokemon's one of Nintendo's best. Pokemon always shifts Nintendo handhelds more often than not, so representing that, why not? Plus, if you've got 6 Pokemon in Smash Brothers, that's a whole team. So it works. It's a nice representation there, because that's the whole team. And I believe in X and Y you can actually have those 6 as your full team, if you so wish. Happy with Bayonetta, the Fire Emblem character is nothing. I don't care. I'm not interested. So yeah, Cloud was released this week after the Direct went up. And I've played a bit as Cloud. First 2 things I noticed, and these things make me feel like the release was a little bit too rushed and that maybe they should have just held him off until February with the other 2 characters. First of all, when I opened the game after downloading him, the game says that, you've unlocked Cloud, and then gives you a bunch of songs that you've unlocked for the stage. And it brought up Let the Battles Begin, which is the battle music, the standard battle music from Final Fantasy VII. Then it brought up Fight On, which is the boss battle music from Final Fantasy VII. And that was it. And I was expecting more than that. And the thing is, both of them are the original songs from Final Fantasy VII. They're not actually rearrangements or remixes or anything. And I can certainly understand the idea of not doing remixes because you're having to hire in the composers again, and that's kind of difficult to probably put together to get a remix done, but just 2 songs from the original Final Fantasy VII OST, it's a bit disappointing, really. Especially considering how many arrangements of Final Fantasy music are out there, just from, official Square releases. Hell, Dissidia has got a ton of new arrangements for stuff. And you've got Advent Children. Yep. I don't know if Kingdom Hearts has any arrangements of Final Fantasy VII music, but I would not be surprised if it does. Those alone, you could probably pull some stuff from. You could also easily pull some stuff from, the many performances and things that they've done, and the arrangements that Square have done. Like, Nobuo Uematsu did his Black Mages project, where he did like metal versions of Final Fantasy music, and I'm pretty sure a few Final Fantasy songs turned up there. So that's, you've got plenty of stuff to work with. Even if you don't want to do any new remixes, you could pull in quite a few things. There's no real excuse to just have 2 tracks, both of which are just taken straight from the original OST. Hey, so that was a bit disappointing. And then I started playing as Cloud, and I realised that, hang on a minute, he's not speaking English. For someone like Marth, I can understand, because Marth was put into Smash Brothers for Melee. And at the time, no Fire Emblem game had been released in the West. So they kept him in Japanese, because he just straight up didn't have any English localization, and his lack of English localization in the games is a reflection of that. But Cloud has an English voice actor. Again, I've already mentioned Dissidia, I've already mentioned Advent Children, I've mentioned Kingdom Hearts. He was played by the same guy in all of them, a guy called Steve Burton. And he doesn't appear to be in this. And I find that weird that they left him in Japanese. So again, this is why I feel like it's a bit rushed. The music is like the most limited selection they could possibly come up with, and you've got him speaking Japanese in the English version of the game, which doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I just think that, obviously he spoke Japanese in his reveal trailer. That I understand. I never saw that as a kind of, they've not bothered to localize it. I saw it as he's in early development and they just haven't done the English localization yet. But now he's out and there's no English localization. I'm just like, why? That seems weird. So I'm kind of used, because I'm used to his English voice from playing Dissidia, so I know kind of what he sounds like, and he doesn't sound like that because he's speaking Japanese. It's a Japanese actor. So I don't know what's going on there. Either Steve Burton was unavailable, in which case, alright, I can forgive that, I guess. Or they just didn't bother, which, considering the rushed music selection, feels like that's what's also happening. And maybe they could have left it for a couple of months just to add those little things in, maybe. But at least when I played as Cloud, he's pretty good. I actually quite like playing as him, and I like the fact that they've implemented the limit break system into his moveset. And I don't just mean you can do the down B to charge his limit break, you can actually, every time you get hit, it builds your limit gauge, i.e. exactly like in Final Fantasy VII. And it kind of adds an interesting bit of strategy to his moveset, because you'll just hear the limit break ding noise from Final Fantasy VII, and you'll be like, yeah, I can do a more powerful attack. And he's got a move, he can do finishing touch once he's charged up, which can instantly knock anyone over 100% off the stage, if they're close enough, obviously. And I'm like, this is all pretty cool. I like this. I like how they've added that element of strategy, and unlike someone like Olimar, where that strategy kind of sometimes feels like it gets in the way of what you're trying to do, when things get really hectic, this kind of fits in rather nicely. And I like it. I approve of it. Some of his moves are a little bit limited, but then again, they don't really have a lot to work with. They've got his limit breaks and Dissidia, and that's it, really. Maybe Kingdom Hearts. But even then, you're just working with, he hits things with his sword. So, yeah. But I like him, he's pretty good. It's just a shame that I can't just taunt people by going, not interested. Because he doesn't say it, because he doesn't speak English. That's weird. But he should be able to press, because I know he does say not interested, he just says it in Japanese. And I know this, because I actually looked it up. I was like, please tell me that one of the Japanese lines he says in one of his taunts is not interested. Please tell me that it is. It has to be. So I looked up, what is not interested in Japanese? I got, what was it, Kyomi ga arimasen, which is the polite version. He says Kyomi naide, which is the informal version of I'm not interested. So he does say I'm not interested. So there is that at least. I'll let him off for that. He does say it, it just says it in another language. It's good to see him in the game though. It's still weird that Cloud is in there, not like Terra, but I'm not complaining. But yeah, in other news, so we know that Kojima's employment contract with Konami was supposed to end on the 15th of December. On the 15th of December, Kojima wasted absolutely no time in finding a new job and immediately announcing that new job. Hideo Kojima has officially announced that he is partnering with Sony Computer Entertainment to make a brand new game exclusively for the PS4, which is pretty cool. And you can tell from Andrew House's expression in the announcement video of this that he is really quite happy that he managed to land this particular deal. Kojima in the same video has aged 20 years and grown a beard. Clearly that is the effect of Konami. That is how bad Konami have gotten. It has aged Kojima 20 years and he hasn't shaved in months. But here's the funny thing though. I thought Konami said that he was on holiday. It's quite an interesting holiday going to a completely different publisher and doing work for them. Seems a really weird holiday. I don't know what Kojima's doing about that. I'm not going to go on holiday to this other company. Anyway, it's a pretty good deal for Sony. I mean, the Metal Gear series has a strong association with PlayStation anyway, so that's a pretty good fit. And just Andrew House's face in that video. You can tell that he's like, oh yeah, we landed this deal. And also you could tell in the way they, okay, Sony and Kojima have both tweeted out, and they've probably put it on Facebook. They've put press releases out immediately to all of the outlets, and they put that video out with the two of them shaking hands. And it's like, they really are just hammering home the idea that Kojima is now free from the shackles of Konami, so basically, fuck Konami. That is the situation that seems to be going on. And again, Andrew House's face definitely speaks volumes on that front. He's like, what are you going to do about it, Konami? I've got him now. He is in our trap. But yeah, it's a pretty good deal for Sony. It's a good deal for Kojima, I reckon. And it'd be interesting to see what comes out. You watch, in a few months, the next announcement will be, hi, my name is Hideo Kojima, and I'm pleased to announce that we've got a new person working on my next project with me. His name is Guillermo del Toro. Oh, and we've got this guy called Junji Ito, he's involved as well. We know that you missed Silent Hills, and we know that you're very disappointed that that got cancelled. I'm disappointed too, so I'm going to make it again. Obviously we can't use the Silent Hill brand, but we'll do something in the same spirit. I could see that happening. I'm not going to get my hopes up about that happening, but I could see it happening. Just the tone of the announcement has been very much a kind of screw you Konami. So if he just turned around and just went ahead and made the game that they cancelled on him under a different name, then yeah. It's also notable that Kojima Productions, now operating independently, appears to have taken most of the staff as well. That's another thing that turned up in the announcement, is that, he's taking a lot of the staff with him. So it's this is quite an interesting holiday he's taking. And it's interesting that everyone seems to be jumping ship from Konami. And everyone wants to still work with Kojima. I wonder who was the real problem in that particular relationship. Oh, we also had the former head of Square Enix come out and say, Konami are being really kind of stupid. So that was weird, that was really random, you don't really expect Square Enix's former head to just weigh in on this, but he did. He's right, but weird that he popped out of nowhere to say that. Not even the current Square Enix CEO, the former Square Enix CEO, I don't know. The whole situation's gotten weird, but it's gotten interesting as well. So at least it's gone in a good direction now. And there wasn't much else going on news-wise. In fact, those two things, I had nothing until 24 hours ago. Then I had those things. But I suppose we are winding down the year, and probably a lot of companies have like, well, we've released our big game of the year, so we haven't got anything to show until the new year, so bye. And let's be honest, that's kind of where I'm at right now. You know, like I said, this is the last Chatty Corner of 2015, and there's no more to say for 2015. So, on that, I would like to say thank you to everyone who has stuck with me across this year. This is the year when... This is the first full year I've done of Let's Playing since, well, a long time. And it's also the year where I finally finished the PlayStation All-Stars project, although obviously I want to do the remastered versions in the new year. And yeah, I want to say thank you for sticking with me in all of that. I'd like to say thank you to everyone who watches my videos and enjoys my videos and, you know, comments on them and sends me things on Twitter, and I'd like to say thank you to anyone who reads my blogs when I post them up. Definitely thank you to those of you who've donated to my Patreon this year. And thank you for sticking with me throughout everything. A lot of people I've noticed are people who watched me prior to me taking my exceptionally long hiatus, and they're still here. They're still watching. And all of you, that makes me feel good. It means that I'm doing the stuff that's worth waiting for. This doesn't mean I'm going to be announcing any more hiatuses in future. That's not going to happen. I'm going to keep going. And 2016, I hope the channel will be even better. So, yeah, again, thank you to everyone. And I hope you have a good Christmas. I hope you have a good New Year. And I will see you in 2016. And I hope you've all had a good year too. And I hope that next year is fantastic for you as well. And I will see you in 3 weeks' time. 3 weeks' time. So, bye!